The National Union of Mine Workers says the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy is useless because it does not enforce mine compliance. The union briefed the media on the outcomes of its collective bargaining conference. Govan Whittles following this story for us. He joins us live. So what is the NUM demanding and what do they want to achieve?
They're demanding a double-digit increase, percentage-wise, between 10 and 15%, up to 50% if you look at what the lowest workers are currently paid. But that demand, they say, is completely reasonable considering the wage inequality in the mining sector, particularly at gold mines, where you'd have senior management being paid more than double the lowest workers. And that's what this round of gold negotiations is all about for the NUM, tackling wage inequality in the gold sector. So aside from the actual wage increases, they're also demanding a number of other additional things, such as an annual dividends payout for workers as part of the ESOP plan, as well as an annual allowance of up to 50,000 rand. And then, of course, there are demands for increases in the housing allowance, some danger pay as well. So these demands, the NUM says, are reasonable considering the state of the gold mining industry. And they say they don't want to fight, but if they're not going to get 50% for at least 3 years, then they'll only accept a one-year agreement. Let's have a look at what the Acting General Secretary, William Mabapa, had to say.
We are demanding that the gap between us as the workers and our management is too big. So we are saying bands, categories must differ with a 10%. I can confirm that in 2012, when our agreement in Anglo was shortcutted, there was an agreement that wage gap between categories was agreed to be a 10%. That was a very great achievement, but it was killed in 2012 when that agreement was just taken out abruptly. We want to confirm that that is achievable. We once achieved it in Anglo, and our going is that all salary scales must differ by 10%. It is painful when you see a B1 earning a salary of more than a B2, a B2 earning a salary of more than a B3, and a B3 earning a salary of more than. Some of the salary scales are just a circus.
So the union also criticizing the Mineral Resources Department.
Yeah, more aiming towards the inspectors, the mine inspectors at the DMRE, as well as the DG, and carefully pointing out that they're not necessarily criticizing the minister, Gwede Mantashe, who's the former general secretary of the NUM, but the NUM frustrated with the DMRE, saying that it seems to be siding with the mining companies, and more worryingly, the NUM has accused mining inspectors of not wanting to grant Section 54 notices which stop operations at the mine to these companies because they plan to apply for positions as health and safety officers at the same mines in the future. Let's have a look at what Mr. Mabapa had to say about this.
If there is a department in the government that is useless, is DMRE. Useless to an extent that ours is to complain, and even when you complain, they go and tell the employer and say, NUM is complaining. They don't go there and say, NUM is complaining, we want to see whether you comply. So in our lifetime, we have never seen a report that shows that all South African mines, having given the license, they are complying. So these mines, they even realized that there is a toothless department, they don't comply, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing. And we can tell that many of these companies that are not complying. But where do you go? Because we have raised it several times with this DMRE. So they can't listen, they don't know their job. Even when they come to meetings, I've never seen a person who has got a power who comes to a meeting, when he sees bosses from the mine, he's shivering.